Okay, yeah. So yeah, just get straight into it. The hidden cost of I'll just use referrals, just relying off referrals and just doing that, right? I speak to a lot of guys on a consistent basis, contractors in construction, whether it be fencing, decking, remodeling, concrete, windows, garage doors, HVAC, all these guys, right? And the most common thing I hear on why their pipeline sometimes is inconsistent, why their revenue is inconsistent, or why they're not able to consistently touch the numbers that they want to touch every month is because the one thing they all say, "Oh, all of my work comes from word of mouth or referrals," right? Some guys know how to properly systemize that and leverage it off of it, but some guys just free ball it and free throw it, and they don't even know when the next time their phone is gonna ring, right? So if you're somebody that thinks referrals are the method, that is going to be the most expensive decision you make, right, regarding your business, and the actual return on that, right? And I'm gonna just pull up my notes here, and I'm gonna get into why all of this is like super inconsistent, unpredictable. Why most guys cannot scale who only rely on referrals only, right? You're literally at least leaving 300K to 500K on the table per year because of the fact that you're only working off of word of mouth and referrals, right? So in this video, I'm basically just gonna break down why referral only stops your growth, right? Why that only stops your growth, and then we're gonna cover the math on how you're actually leaving that much money on the table, and then why you cannot scale with referrals just alone, and what do the top guys actually do when it comes to getting more work coming in, right? Not only having one pipeline of flow of work, multiple pipeline, multiple leads of sources of getting leads, right? And if you're waiting, for the phone to ring instead of generating these guys for you, um, this video should literally just be the whole wake up call for you guys, right? So how do you start to diversify your lead sources, right? That's the first thing you should be doing. Like, what can I start to do to diversify how I even get my leads in the first place, right? So let me pull that up for you guys right now. Right. Let me 1 second. Like, dealing with some other stuff here. Yeah, my bad, guys. I'm not editing this video at all. Like, I can't be bothered to do that. I'm just pulling up some other stuff right now, making sure these accounts are on point. Just keep getting calls. Alright. Alright, guys. Hopefully I didn't bore you and your attention span isn't that bad. But yeah, let's just get into it, right? Like I said, I can talk to guys all the time. Referrals feel great. It's easy. They're warm leads, and they will convert. Yeah, because anyone can sell a referral. Anybody can sell a referral, right? But here's the most thing. The one thing that you guys don't really understand is that referrals, is going to be the most expensive decision you make. And let's kind of get into why that is, right? So let's be clear. What are referrals? Referrals are basically leads that come from either past customers, friends, word of mouth. There's no paid advertising involved in that whatsoever. There's no active marketing. It's just relying on people to tell other people about you, right? Now here's the problem on why referrals are like just inconsistent with that, right? Some months, you'll get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 referrals, right? And then some months you might just get back to zero. You just plummet, and it just may be dry for a couple months, right? Because referrals only depend on these things, right? You finishing up a past job that ended up really, really well, and they really want to tell other people about you. And 2, that person knowing someone who needs your service. 3, the person actually started following you and actually referring you to, knowing you and actually referring you to a group of people, right? And that leads to the referred person actually calling you, right? Now, there in that statement that I just explain, there's a lot of what ifs. If this person does that, if they call you, if they refer you, right? If they like it, then if they'll, there's just a bunch of ifs, right? That's the problem. Now, with that being said, referrals are a passive thing, right? And you're just waiting for someone to tell someone about you. You're hoping someone actually remembers you or tells them. There's a lot of like unpredictability involved in that, right? Now, meanwhile, there's people out here that are not doing that. They're generating these guys, right? They're not just waiting there, sitting back, waiting for someone to call them. No, they're like, okay, well, I need people to call me. What are the steps I need to do to make that happen, right? And they take those steps, right? So this is the referral trap I see a lot of these guys in, right? You feel like you have a business coming in, so you don't really start marketing, and then a couple months come in, and then, bam, dry. Now you're scrambling. You don't know where the work is coming in, when it's going to come in, and now you have a whole crew to manage, and now you're just in a tight spot, right? And you don't want to end up there, like you really don't. So let's just kind of do some math on how you're losing that much money, and you're leaving all that out on the table. Let's just say you're a roofing contractor. The average job value for that is around price it. I know it depends on like other stuff, but average, let's just say around 12,000. Referrals, only one contractor, right? So 1 month you might get 2 referrals. That might equal to 1 close. Month 2 you might get one referral, which equals to 1 close. Month 3 to 4 you might get 3 closes. Month 4, 0 referrals, 0 closes. Month 5, you get 2 referrals, you probably close 1 job, that's another 12K. Month 6 you might get 3 referrals, that equals two closes, right? So an average 10 leads a month, right? That's like 1.6 jobs a month, which is like 20K a month, right? With 10 leads. That's only like 240K per year alone on referrals, right? Now, let's just look at the difference between someone that does have a system in place, right? He has Google ads running, he has a social media presence, a local service ads running, Facebook ads, an AI targeting system behind that. He probably does Nextdoor. He's also on Yelp, posting organically, has a TikTok page posting organically on Instagram Reels. All of those systems running. That's an added at least maximum 700K per year, right? So the referrals only contractor is only making 240K a year, and the system contractor who implements these systems behind them is making around 500K to 700K per year. The only difference between that gap, for the referrals only contractor, what's the hidden cost of not having a system, right? And that's just one contractor. If you're an HVAC company, general contractor, remodeling contractor with bigger job values, these gaps just get even wider, right? I've seen a lot of guys leave a shit ton of money on the table, right? Because they thought referrals was going to be the way, right? But if you're somebody that actually wants to scale and grow and take your business to the moon, like, you cannot just be sitting here relying on referrals. It's just not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen, right? And the reason why it's really hard to scale referrals, here's another thing, right? Let's just say, yeah, I'm going to try to scale my referral thing as much as I can, but the problem is, it's really, 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 it's really hard to scale, right? Let's just say you're amazing at your job, you do great work, you get a lot of referrals, you're doing 3 or 4 jobs a month, you're full, you're busy, and then out of nowhere, you stop getting referrals. And because your word of mouth only gets so far, right? You hit it. There's only a ceiling you can hit about how people refer you and how many referrals you can get, right? And another thing with that is you can't track it, you can't control it. That's a problem. You can't really control it, because if you can't even track it, then it's like, If you're able to track it, then you're able to see what's causing referrals, how many referrals are we getting, how can we increase it. It's hard to track, right? And then the thing is, it's hard to scale because you can't track it. Versus if you're somebody that has a system turned on, everything is tracked, right? You can see if you reach 6,000 people in your area, you might get 4 leads, right? Out of those 4 leads, you do a on-site estimate with 2 of them. 1 of them will convert, right? It's a simple math. Keep those numbers up the same. 1 of them will convert every month if you keep those numbers the same. But with referrals, you can't really do that, right? It's really hard to do that, right? And the thing with the system, let's just say you want more, just double the numbers. You can easily do that, easily, right? It's just numbers. It's just math, right? Just run up the numbers, do the calculations. You'll get your resulted outcome if you do the calculations properly. It's just math, right? So with that, it's super scalable, super easy. Now with referrals, you can't really do that, right? And that's the big difference between scaling a business and having a flat business, right? Referral only contractors always stay at the same revenue. Maybe it fluctuates, from month to month. Then their business doesn't grow because they hit a referral ceiling. While these guys, contractors, with the systems behind them, they're scaling slowly, consistently every month, every year, right? Now, here's the deepest problem with the referral thing, right? It makes you dependent. A lot of this stuff with referrals and just not even placing systems behind you you're relying on a bunch of factors you just cannot control yourself, right? Your business depends on past customers being satisfied, past customers knowing, other people who might need your services, past customers actually taking the time out of their day to refer you, past customers, um, you know, their recommendations actually converting. But here's the problem with that: you don't have any control over that, right? One bad job, dries up your entire referrals. One slow season, no one's referring you. And then what happens? Your competitor gets lucky with your word of mouth. They steal your traffic. But when you have a system behind in place, you have the levers. You can pull your own levers. That's what I'm trying to say. You are literally steering your boat. If you want more leads, turn up the volume on these ads, right? I'm getting calls all the time. Turn up the volume on your ads. If you want more appointments, turn up the volume on your ads. Get more people to see you. Turn up your reach. Turn up your SEO, right? Turn up your organic posting. It's really simple, right? It's not that hard. And that's really what separates most of these guys making 200K a year from guys making 700, 800K a year, right? It's not the one that works harder, hard work. No, it's the one that works smarter, the one that actually has systems behind them, not the one that's sitting there hoping for the phone to ring, right? So, you go ahead watching a couple of my videos. I teach you guys how to build these systems yourself. Organic booking system is a cool thing to build, and it's super easy. Short form content, record 3 or 4 videos every day. Make sure they're quality. Make sure they have a hook. Make sure you're talking to them. They're engaging. The audience knows what they're talking about. You're actually hitting your target audience. Make sure you have your hashtags correct, proper SEO in those hashtags, and you can literally build your own organic content booking system, and you'll have referrals. Not even referrals, just booked appointments. Actually, just literally just waking up to it, right? There's just a bunch of things you can actually do. Paid ads, social media, YouTube, right? Referrals should only be one of them. It shouldn't be your only one, right? So, especially nowadays, right? You have to be on social media, right? So if you're not, then you're doing yourself a huge disservice. But yeah, like literally, I try to give as much value for you guys because I see that so many. I think this niche, not even just people in just the construction industry has just been through so much with marketing, and it's just like they're like paralyzed. They're like literally paralyzed from it. And I get that, right? Because Angie's, pay for the leads, they don't pick up. Home thumbtack, home advisor, it's a bunch of bullshit. And that's another thing, right? And that'll be a topic for a whole nother video. But guys, build your own booking system. Stop being hard-headed. Do some research. Figure out how to get out there and get some action steps in. It's really not that hard. But if you like, what we're saying here, if you want to follow the page. So I show you guys how to build your systems, how to get more traffic coming in, and just some advice on just to stay updated on what's going on in the construction niche. Go ahead and drop a follow. Go ahead, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be more consistent. But I have a lot of stuff on my plate I gotta do and take care of. But I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one.